Hello everyone, my name is Brendan Snyder. Thank you so much for joining me and welcome to another episode of 5 Favorite Box Sets. Number 3, this one focusing on deluxe editions. So as part of my music collection, I have well over 11,000 CDs, but I also have over 200 box sets. So while I typically focus on the album for the videos that I make and stuff like that, for this particular series, I thought I would focus on my mini box sets and run through some of my most favorite ones with you. But before we dive into all of that, if you are new to my channel and haven't already hit the subscribe button, please click the button. Also leave a comment, hit like, all those things help support my channel. I would greatly appreciate it. And of course, as an added bonus, by subscribing, you'll be able to stay up to date on all that's going on in the world of music, just like this, with 5 favorite box sets. All right, so the question is sort of what makes a good box set, right? And to me, at least, it's just a couple factors here. Variety of material is one, so things like alternate takes, demos, B-sides, outtakes, live versions, stuff like that. You know, not just straight studio tracks or all hits, that sort of stuff. Something new for the hardcore fans, some kind of unreleased material to be included, and then certainly a book and memorabilia, stuff like that to be grouped into. And I think kind of all those things together can make for a really good box set. So in no particular order here, we're going to start with Pink Floyd, Dark Side of the Moon, the Immersion edition. This is the 8th studio album that originally came out in 1972, and interestingly enough, it is the longest charting album in Billboard history with over 950 weeks that it has racked up on the charts, which is pretty amazing in and of itself. And so the box set itself is 6 discs. So CD 1 in here is a remastered album. CD number 2 is a complete live performance of the album itself, originally recorded in 1974. CD 3 is what I'm actually most interested in this. It is an early mix from 1972 of the album itself, created by Alan Parsons from the Alan Parsons Project. He was the engineer on it. And just some of the differences that are on these tracks, like The Great Gig in the Sky, it has yet to have the added gospel vocal on it. So it has an entirely different feel to it. They also have a track on here from the Aborted Household Projects album. And there's also demos, some outtakes, and live tracks included on that. Then there's a DVD that's got multi-channel mixes on it, another DVD that's got video content like live performances. It has those great concert screen videos that they use during their shows. There's a documentary on it. And then there is a Blu-ray in here with high-res audio, plus it has the same video content as the DVD. Then we get into all the memorabilia, and this box really has a lot of it here. It's got a book, poster, art prints, there's a scarf, marbles, coasters, and more. And so let's take a quick peek at this thing. There's nothing on the back side of it, although it had one of those paper things so that you knew what was coming in it. And the top of this just lifts right off like that. Here's that paper thing that I was talking about that was on the back side of it, telling you what was part of it. I always end up hanging on to those things. It's got a little protective thing here that we're just going to pull off, and then you can see all the great content there. And so the scarf is in here. As I mentioned, it has coaster sets with a very cool art print on these things. Why they included marbles, I don't know, but just another cool little thing. Comes in a bag like this, and there's one of the marbles for you. There's 3 of them in it. The discs come in individual sleeves like these. Not going to pull them all out, but just want to give you guys an idea. So unique art and stuff. There's these other envelopes, I guess you'd call them, with different art prints and stuff that are in them, and are cards, collector cards of some kind. We get a cool concert pass in one of these things here. Pink Floyd always goes kind of the extra mile with this stuff. There's some additional items that come in there. Then you get the information. It's not really all that interesting, but it does tell you all the sort of stuff that's in the box and what it is and so forth. And as I said, you get some art prints that are in here. There's also a really great book that's included within this one here. stuff like that. It's got all the different album art. Of course, it's got lyrics and stuff that's in here. And one additional thing that's in here, we then have this, a tour documentary book that is also part of this. It's got some really great shots. And since, you know, they include that live album that's in here, really great to get that as well. All right, so the next one that's in here, Queen News of the World 40th Anniversary 2017. This was the 6th studio album at the time, originally released in 1977. This one here has 5 discs in it. There's an LP that is a pure analog cut. CD1 is the 2011 Bob Ludwig remaster. Then CD2 is called the Raw Sessions, and it's got alternate versions, rough mixes, demos, early takes, live and acoustic versions. And it's sequenced the same as the album, so you can listen to it as just like an alternate take on the album. CD3 is bonus tracks, like BBC sessions, instrumental takes, radio edits, and live. And then there's a DVD in here that's called The American Dream, and is a great documentary on the band. Plus, again, we get memorabilia in this one. There's a US press kit, all access pass, promotional materials, poster, 60-page hardcover book. So front cover of this, different than the News of the World album. They saved that for the inside, and there's the back side. And again, this one lifts off too. You get this cool thing on the inside, which is kind of like very cool wallpaper. And then when we open it up, we immediately see all of the goodies that are within there. I mentioned there being a press pass or a backstage pass, and it's that. There were some promotional materials, which they made up to look like a newspaper that's included in here. I kept the piece of paper that was on the backside telling us what everything is, of course. It then has this folder that's within here that as it opens itself, it has the press kit that was in here, and you can see it there. It's got various photos, and you can see there's a typewritten thing telling you about the band. And on the underside of this, there's a poster in here that unfolds and opens up that's very cool. Then you also get the vinyl album that I mentioned, the analog cut of this thing, so that's kind of cool. I think that's why they left that cover off of the box itself, and then you get a really great book as well, a nice hardcover book with some really great shots and promotional material and stuff like that throughout it as well. So very cool packaging here. All right, moving on to the next one, we have Bruce Springsteen, The Ties That Bind, the River Collection from 2015. And this one here being his 5th studio album that was originally released in 1980, The River. So 35th anniversary that this one here is celebrating. And it contains 52 tracks across 4 CDs, but it's also got 4 hours of video on 2 Blu-rays that are in here. So the 6 discs as a whole break down as disc 1 and 2 are the original album, The River, remastered. Then disc 3 is The River as a single album, which I thought was really cool. It was something that they edited down at the time. They thought they might do a single album, but ultimately went with the double album approach to it. So you can listen to it as what if they had cut it down. You know, that's always a big debate amongst fans, whether a double album should have been a single album. And in this case, you get it. Disc 4 is The River Outtakes. That's what I was most interested in within this collection. It features 22 tracks, 11 of which are previously unreleased, and some of the songs received new vocals from Bruce Springsteen on it. So he didn't just take those old tracks and put them out. He actually finished a lot of them off, almost making a new recording here. Disc 5 is a Blu-ray called The Ties That Bind. It's a documentary that's 60 minutes long. It's got new reflections from Bruce about the recording of the album. And Disc 6 is Blu-ray, and it is The River Tour. So pretty cool there, plus of course there being a book in it. So this is the front of it here, and I always like how he uses the different kind of artwork and stuff, making it feel a bit different. And this one here is a little different where it slides out from the top. And so we get the book, which is a really fantastic addition to this thing here. No additional memorabilia for him, but the book itself is so glorious that kind of makes up for it here, because it's like what people would call a coffee table book. It just has so much great stuff in it. You want to leave it sitting out all the time for what's included within it. And then there's a second part to this that has all of the discs in it. And let's see if I open this up the right way. We'll flip it around. There we go. So you can see all the discs are individually in here like this. So I really like that they all come in their own sleeves. That's just another bonus to this sort of stuff, that you get to pull these out, leave them out if you want to on it. You don't have to just have them sitting in some big bulky case like this when you're trying to listen to one of these. And then within it, there's a sort of replica of the composition notebook that he oftentimes writes all of his lyrics and things within. So again, that's the way they all come. And nice reproduction of the handwritten lyrics in there with things typed out and so forth. So pretty cool collection at that. All right, next one here that we're going to go into is Tom Petty, Wildflowers, and All the Rest. The super deluxe edition of it came out in 2020. Now, this was his second solo album, which was originally released in 1994. Here's the back side of that, and it, listing everything that's going on with it. A little different than some of the other ones where they have those paper things that come off later on. I like when the stuff remains on the back side there. It's always there to tell me what it is. So this package includes 5 discs in it, 70 tracks, 9 of which are unreleased. Disc 1 in here is Wildflowers, the original album, all 15 tracks remastered. Disc 2 is the All the Rest part of this, which has 10 tracks that didn't make the original album, which were intended for this as a double disc. The album itself was going to be a double album, but was pared down before release. Disc 3 is home recordings, so it gives you a real intimate sort of alternate take of what the album could have been. Disc 4 is Wildflowers Live. It grabs up a whole bunch of different versions of the way the songs were performed live. And then Disc 5, which is unique to this, or at least it was at the time when it came out, because they have released this disc separately now. It's called Finding Wildflowers, and it's got alternate versions of the songs from the album itself as the band tried to figure out the right arrangements and things for it. So 16 tracks, 2 of which on there didn't make the album itself. And then there's memorabilia inside here. There's a tour book, art prints, handwritten lyrics, and exclusive art. This one here is really very interesting. It opens up, it's a magnetic thing on the side, and it opens up like that. And so it's got unique art. And this sort of stuff does not feature on the inside of the 4-disc. So there is a 4-disc smaller version of it that's more cost effective for a lot of people. You get the numbered limited edition certificate with the thing, and then there's this folder that's in here, and this has the handwritten lyrics you can see, and some art prints that are within this here. If I can kind of thumb that down. There's also a patch that's within this and stuff, so cool stuff there. And then the tour book is really interesting. So this is how it came, actually, in the cutout like a vinyl, but then there's the tour book there slid into it. And then there's a sort of hardcover book that's in the underside of this, but it contains all of the discs and everything. So it's like a bigger version, if I can find it real quick, of the small one that we've got. But again, you can see that there's different art that is on this. And so each of the packagings had unique art that was created just for the thing. So whether you bought a 2-disc edition, the 4-disc edition, or you bought this super deluxe, you are getting unique content within yours. And this has track-by-track commentary and everything, and then all the discs are individually in the back of this thing. All right, in the final box set, we're going to take a look at Def Leppard Hysteria. So 30th anniversary, came out in 2017. Of course, originally released in 1987 as their 4th studio album. Features 7 discs in this one here. Disc 1 is the CD itself with the full album remastered. Disc 2 and 3 is a CD in here, B-sides and remixes. Disc 4 and 5 are CDs, and it's In the Round, In Your Face Live, which is the audio from the home video, the original VHS tape that they released at the time. And Disc 6 is a DVD called Visual Hysteria, featuring all the music videos. And Disc 7 is another DVD with the VH1 Classic album documentary about the making of the album itself, plus a lot of bonus material and stuff on it, so very cool. And then we got some memorabilia in here, 3 books, a tour book, and poster. And so this one here, like a lot of these, it just lifts right off the top there. And we'll put that down on it. Does say on the inside, do you take sugar? Which I thought was kind of cool, like when they put a little something in there. We've got books right on the top here. We'll pull all of those out, and I'll thumb through briefly in a second. And then you've got the discs in the underside, each of which is individually done, and so very nice that they spend that time doing that again. This seems to be a pretty popular way to do the box sets, and I like that. But we get this is the big book of Hysteria, and it just goes through history and photos and everything of that nature in here. And we get the tour book, and this one here's got a die cut out of it, so when you open it up like that, thought that's pretty cool that at least they recreated that. Certainly didn't have to. It's also got very nice glossy pages and everything with it. And then we've got photography by Ross Halfin, who does portraits and stuff for the band. Does it for a lot of the famous artists that are out there. So you get separate, book related to all of that. You get their whole discography, which of all the singles and 45s and everything that came out across all the different markets and territories. I mean, it just goes on and on with stuff like that. Poster and stuff like that included within this. And then, of course, as I mentioned, all the discs themselves come in these individual sleeves. So again, very cool. And there you go. That is 5 favorite box sets, number 3 in this case, looking at deluxe editions of albums. So hopefully you enjoyed this, and certainly if you did, consider comment, liking, and subscribing, and sharing it out on social media. Do check the description for links to related videos. In particular, I've done reviews of all of these box sets, so I'll put links to those if you want to see a more in-depth breakdown of each of these. You can do that. All right, everyone, take care, have a great day, and I'll talk to you all real soon. Bye-bye.